the way you sang. This is what Gurudev always told, to know the meaning of the word and to connect with your heart, not just melody, not just, it is not for fun, it is not music, it is kirtan. It is supposed to connect our heart to the higher authorities. And I think you did it so wonderfully. I think everybody must be crying, those who are listening to your kirtan. Naam has got everything in it. Love of the world is inside this Naam. And when it is descending from Guru Parampara on the lips of a devotee, pure devotee, then it can create magic.
Gurudev was the greatest magician. He was so clever. He was here to capture the hearts of everyone. So what was he doing with these hearts? In one letter, I was just reading this morning, in one letter, he said, I have not come to collect so many disciples. This person was upset with me because he felt like I had stolen his flowers and given them to Gurudev. And Gurudev said, I consider him to be my friend. He is like my young son, and I want to help him so much, and I want to help you so much. And how can I help you if you make offenses to anybody? And I was very apologetic for that, because that was never my intention. My intention was always to give the opportunity to every soul that I ever met to sit before someone who's come into the human world from Sri Radha's kingdom. This is an eternal being descending for benefit. And that is not something that can be given. That liberation can't be given by somebody who hasn't fully realized themselves within the kingdom of God. And who is fully realized within the kingdom of God? It's a great question. There's a lot of gurus. There's lots of people who claim to be so many things. So Gurudev says that we should be very humble and very tolerant and love everyone and see the good in everyone. He said our minds should be like bees to nectar, not flies to stool. And he taught that if we want to enter into the realm of bhakti, that holy name is its entrance, and that the Gayatri mantra must be planted in the fertile ground of the heart. The seed of bhakti must be given from the lips of someone who is realized in that kingdom. This giving of the seed is so important. It's no small thing. It's more important than who you marry. It's more important than anything. You're going to spend eternity with this person, and you want to enter into that realm. You don't want to receive a seed from somebody who doesn't have that seed to give. So this brings me to another thing where Gurudev asked me in Mathura one time. He said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to give holy name to everybody everywhere I go. And he said, oh, and you have holy name to give? Our process of liberation, our process of becoming a pure devotee ourselves is very important. It should not be ignored. What is the greatest humanitarian effort? To become a pure devotee. Because only a pure devotee can liberate someone and help them to go back to Godhead, to Golok Vrindavan, to enter into the kingdom of God. So this is another story. Is many people back then would ask Gurudev, how many lives do I have left, Gurudev? And Gurudev would then, think for a moment, and then he'd come up with some clever answer or a very honest answer. Together we were like a small family. Back then it was super, super sweet. In the early days, it was like Gurudev and then a group of maybe 25 or 30 of us who were around Gurudev like regularly everywhere he was going, staying with him in the same house wherever he would go. Everything was just always perfect. Every moment around Gurudev was just always perfect. So when I went into Gurudev and asked, how many lives do I have left, Gurudev? So I did, because, in ISKCON we were taught in one life you can go back to Godhead. You just follow the 4 radiative principles, chant 16 rounds a day, and you will go back to Godhead. Srila Gurudev, he explained that it can take so many lifetimes chanting holy name to leave this world forever. So then he told me how many lives I have left. I came out of the room weeping because I didn't want to believe that I would ever have to come back here again. I wanted to believe that at the end of this life, I could leave my flesh behind and be done with it and enter into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, which I crave. And I was really, really sad because he asked me, oh, now I'm all moved in my heart. Sorry, forgive me. He asked me, have you ever eaten meat in this life? I said, yes, Gurudev. Have you ever had intoxication? Yes, Gurudev. You know, he's my guru. You can't hide who you are. You have to be authentic. If you're not being authentic when you're in front of him, then you're not going to get what you want out of the experience. So I told him, you know, yes, Gurudev. Have you gambled? I said, oh, you know, once or twice, you know, playing cards or something. Have you had sex outside of marriage? And I very shamefully said, yes, Gurudev. Not possible in this life, he said. Not possible in this life, but in your next life. He said, I will be with you from babyhood in your next life. And then he told me other sweet things and gave me a lot of hope. But still, I was deeply saddened because I don't want another body. I want to do it in this life. And the reason I still cling to the hope that even though I'm not qualified and even though my flesh had to endure meat because the soul is innocent and the soul is pure, that with yearning and with tears and praying and mercy, that perhaps Sri Radhe is just so supremely sweet and soft-hearted. She cannot reject us. It's not possible for her to reject us. She is Divine Mother. Whether we think of her that way or not, of course we're maid servants of Sri Radhe. We don't think of her in that way, but she is Divine Mother. She is the source of everything that is feminine in creation, which is everything. Everything else in creation is of her energy, her Shakti. And Sri Guru came to this world to open up the flood banks of Sri Radhe's grace and mercy for the world. And this is his true glory, because Sri Radhe wants to help everyone. We are her children. She wants her praying to fill all of our hearts. Just like how Gurudev gave the example of a child in the womb, that the child is automatically being fed by the mother, and the mother is automatically removing all that is unwanted in the body and the heart. Without even thinking about it, these things are going on for a child in the womb. And so Gurudev compared initiation to this analogy. I asked him once, what happens at the time of initiation, Gurudev? And he said, I will jump into your heart and I will sweep your heart and I will make a beautiful kunj for Sri Radha and Krishna to enter. And I must have had a confused look on my face at the time, because then he said, your heart is like a canvas, and I am painting a beautiful scene of Radha and Krishna upon the canvas of your heart. How is it possible that such incredible sweetness could come out of any person's lips? I had just never heard anything like it. He said that All of this is possible for you if you do not commit any Vaishnava aparadha. I like to speak a lot about Jesus and Gurudev because they both represent this oozing compassion and this merciful way of thinking about humanity and about the plight of every living being as it really is. The cows who are being slaughtered, who are weeping for their children, the mothers for their babies, the babies weeping for their mothers, the atrocities that are going on in the world that we live in, because happiness is divine love. Happiness is seeing God. Happiness is mercy. Happiness is a moment in time where you connect to their world and to their love, and you embody it and you express it through your voice, through your singing, through your kirtan, through your writing, through your dancing, through your imagination. You think of ways that you can develop your eternal seva. How do we serve Sri Radhe? Gurudev came to teach us how to serve Radharani. How is this done? Each of our services is going to be different. We are all individuals, so everything that we express as divine love is going to be done in a unique way. We're not all the same, nor do we have to be all the same. It's our uniqueness that Krishna wants to taste. It's that freshness of our innocent self that wants to love him and reach for him in some way and give him some kind of pleasure, even though we're so unqualified. So if we don't commit aparadha, if we don't make offenses to one another, then we enter into this school of bhakti, and we are always students. We are never the master. We will forever be learning this art. So therefore, pridefulness and arrogance is ridiculous in spiritual life, and it must be given up if we want to enter into the realm of bhakti, and we want to enter into the realm of bhakti. So it's very important that we learn how to overcome our lower nature simultaneous to this chanting process. Now, anartha nivritti, this process of cleansing the reflection of the heart, is very powerful. Holy name and Gayatri together are supremely powerful. Like I gave the example of how Srila Gurudev brought a child back to life. And when he did this in Mathura, he whispered something in the boy's ear. Gurudev told me this story. He whispered something in the little boy's ear who was dead on the road. And the boy came back to life. And everyone in Mathura was amazed at Gurudev's power. He performed this miracle like Jesus of bringing someone back from the dead. He was telling me this when I was living with him in Mathura, and he said, "Do you know what I whispered in the..." Yeah. I said, "No, Gurudev." He said, "Gayatri mantra." Gayatri mantra is so powerful that it can rise someone from the dead. So this leads me to think how powerful Gayatri mantra is on us as living souls in the body, in the flesh, from this lineage of pure Vaishnavas who are all maidservants, and they've all come to teach us how to enter into these mysteries of Sri Radha's service. And how do they do this? How do we get to understand what we are to do when we see them before us? This is our bhajan practices. This is what we are trying to really realize whilst chanting our Gayatri mantras. We are forming our eternal relationships with people in the kingdom at that time when we chant Gayatri. So it's very important that we give them our full attention. It can't be rushed. Gurudev would sometimes chant Gayatri for hours, completely absorb themselves in Gayatri for hours. If we want to go deep, when we invoke these great personalities, we're required to be present with them, and that takes attention and time and presence. It can't be rushed. You simply cannot rush through these mantras. I like to sing holy name kind of slow in a melancholy way, but that's how holy name moves through me. That's my mood of separation manifesting in a way that it wants to. It has to flow naturally and be natural for it to be real. Very important that we take the foot dust of the saints in our line. So this brings me to another quick story that I want to share with you. So in 1996 in England, we went on that first tour that Gurudev took out of India, and honestly, it was amazing. It was the best time of my life. That 1 year that I was with him was the best time of my life. And I think everyone who was there felt the same way. It was just pure magic. So much mercy was distributed to us, to our hearts. It's unfathomable. Anyway, one time in 1996 in England on his first tour, Gurudev wanted to go and take the foot dust of Srila Prabhupada. So he wanted to go to Bhakti Vedanta Manor in Hertfordshire, the ISKCON temple that was owned by the Beatle George Harrison. And he wanted to see this temple and go and take the foot dust of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada had come there and spent quite a bit of time there apparently. So Gurudev wanted to go, so we went with him very early in the morning one morning. And there were some things that were very strange about that day, I must admit. Very strange things happened. A lot of aparadha was made, and I was extremely hurt to see my friends, people who I knew from ISKCON, behave in such disrespectful ways. It broke my heart to pieces. People couldn't understand why I had left Srila Prabhupada's movement to go and take initiation elsewhere. It was extremely painful for me, because my heart was completely overwhelmed with devotion for this pure holy master who had drenched me with so much mercy. And yet here these people were offending him, making him feel very uncomfortable, and all of us. So we came into the back door of the temple at the Bhaktivedanta Manor. We were ushered into a room, and we were basically locked in a room for about 15 minutes. They locked the door. We couldn't get out of the room. There was Gurudev sitting on a chair, Shamarani Didi sitting there, and the small group of us, 20 of us sitting there. And we could hear the program going on in the temple room, and we were all wondering, this is so strange. Why have we been locked in this room? And people were going up and trying to open the door. The door was locked. Many of us went up to open it. It was locked. And meanwhile, we could hear Guru Puja going on in the temple room. And then after about 15 minutes, Gurudev got up and he just opened the door and walked out of the room like the door had never been locked. And we all followed him, behind him, into the temple room. And Gurudev did full Dandavat pranams to the Murti of Srila Prabhupada, and we all followed, copied what he was doing. And then he went and he stood to do artik with his eyes of Srila Prabhupada, his Shiksha Guru, who he spent so many years with. There is not one disciple of Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON or anywhere in the world who can claim to have had as much time with Srila Prabhupada as my Gurudev did. Not one person. And here Gurudev is so dear and near and affectionate with Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada asked Gurudev, please Go and travel the world and fill my disciples' hearts with your nectar to help people. And Gurudev fulfilled his mission. Gurudev came to the West and he re-inspired so many dormant hearts. And he nourished where we were unnourished. He filled what was empty. He inspired what was uninspired and uninspirable. He did the impossible. He worked miracles everywhere he went. And here these people were offending him in such a blatant way. I was devastated. I didn't expect it. I had no idea about the politics that was going on between camps and all of this nonsense. And it was so hurtful to see my beautiful, saintly Gurudev be treated with so much disrespect. It was painful. So when we left this temple, we walked out through the front of the temple now. And one of the sannyasis from GBC came out and took the garland that he was wearing around his neck off of his neck and went to garland Gurudev with it. And Madhav Maharaj threw it to the ground. And Gurudev put his shoes on and walked briskly to the car. And we all followed. Small group of us followed. Many were still back in the temple, but I was very lucky. I ran after Gurudev. And Gurudev got in the car, and the car was driving very slowly, and I was running after Gurudev's car, running so fast to catch up. So we came to the gates of the main entrance to the temple, and they were closed. It's an electric gate, so it opens automatically when a car comes close. So Gurudev's car paused, and Gurudev rolled his window down, and I ran up to Gurudev's window, and I looked at him, and I was so sad for him. My heart was broken for him that he had been treated this way. His first time coming to a Prabhupada temple in the West, out of India. It broke my heart. And he looked very grave and very sad. But he looked into my eyes with his beautiful big eyes. He glanced at me with a big smile, and he said, "Just see, Radha and Krishna have come to cheer me up." And in one moment, 2 white swans swooped down out of the sky and landed on the bonnet of his car. They paused for a moment, and then they flew away. And then Gurudev's window rolled back up, and he drove away. God, I was just, what just happened? What was this? Unbelievable experience. Incredible. So this is dated October 14th, 1996. This was after the end of his first tour to the West had ended, and he had gone back to Mathura, and I'd gone back to London, England to pack up my stuff, and I was going to go and live with him in Mathura at that point. So I wrote to him, and he said, my dear darling daughter Krishna Vallabha, my heartly blessings to you. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga and to Sri Sri Radha Vinoda Bihariji. I received your letter dated 20th of September 1996, and I became so joyful to read it. You are having so much faith in me and are so attracted to hear about Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Actually, this is the most important qualification for becoming Krishna conscious, to feel attracted to the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. One may be so wretched and full of bad qualities, but when he becomes attracted to hear about the Vrindavan pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugala Kishore, then very soon he will become the best of all persons. I hope you will bring me very soon that most fragrant heart which you are preparing for me, and you can bring more hearts with you. I am a heart collector, and I want many, many sweet, soft and fragrant hearts, and offer them in a garland to the lotus necks of Sri Sri Radha Vinoda Bihariji. You are writing how you are missing me so much. In the same way, I am also missing you. I want to teach you how to serve Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugala Kishore. So I hope that we can meet soon. By the mercy of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, that one day we may enter into the loving service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. I hope this letter will meet you in healthy and happy Krishna consciousness. Ever your well-wisher, Swami B.V. Narayan. So sweet. Only a maidservant of Sri Radha can speak like this and give this kind of mercy and impression on the heart.
ये कहता है जब शुद्ध गुरु हो गया, ये वैष्णव मात्र ही गुरु है, उनको सब कुछ सम्मान।